Hey y'all, it's Val with Our Forever Farm, and we're back with a pantry challenge update. This is week 2. So we're out of tortilla chips, so I just made my own. I just took flour tortillas, salted and peppered them, put some olive oil on them first, and then baked them in the oven until they were crunchy like I like them. And then Sweet Hunter, he wanted some tacos. He likes the hard tacos, the hard shell tacos. So I had a little bit of cheese in the freezer, so I went and got that out, thawed it out, and you can tell it's kind of crumbly, but hey, it doesn't make a difference in the taste at all. I love to freeze cheese and anything else that goes with it. I browned about a pound of ground beef, and then I wanted some pinto beans, and last year we canned a bunch of pinto beans together, and this is my next to my last pint that I'm opening. When I can the pinto beans, I don't season them or anything, so they're just plain, fully cooked pinto beans, and they're so convenient to have. I call it fast food. So I salt and pepper it, and if I have any bacon grease, I'll add it. But today, on this day, I had bacon, little pieces of bacon in the refrigerator in a plastic bag, and I just added it to the beans and just cooked them right up. All you have to do is warm them up. They're fully cooked. And then I just dished him out some in a bowl. He loves pinto beans. He loves them with tacos. He loves them with cornbread. I put a little cheese on top, a little salsa. And yes, you can freeze these hard taco shells. I actually like the flour tortillas myself, but he loves the hard tacos. So I had thawed them out, just got them to room temperature, and then I just warmed them in the microwave. That's all I did. A lot of people don't understand that you can freeze a lot of things and use them later. If it wasn't for my freezers, this pantry challenge would not be what it is today with me, because you can't can everything. I freeze more than I can, and I can a lot. So all I'm doing is adding the ground beef to the tacos. So the whole point of this pantry challenge is to keep you out of the store, to save money, and it's also to use what you have where you'll have good rotation in your freezers and on your pantry. So here I'm just adding him some salsa. He loves salsa on his tacos. I don't really have any lettuce. I don't even have any cabbage. I've used all the cabbage out of my garden, and I haven't been to the store. Thank goodness. So basically what we're doing is using things on purpose. So here's a prime example. The kids for Christmas got me a lot of glass bottle Cokes. I normally use 2 liters, and we keep them outside in the refrigerator outside. So this is the way I like to eat my tacos. I crush up the shells, and I make a taco salad. I just make a salad without the lettuce, taco salad. So the difference between me and Sweet Hunter is I like all the stuff. I like the tomatoes and the lettuce and stuff like that. He likes meat and cheese and shells. But you add those beans on there and some salsa, there's your tomatoes right there. Cheese and sour cream, it's delicious. There we go. So this is another night, and yes, I have on pajamas. Y'all saw them many times. But we are using wonton wraps. During the holidays, we had lots of appetizers, and I had these left over. And during a pantry challenge, you don't let anything go to waste. So one night, we had leftover appetizers that I had froze. But this appetizer right here is so good, y'all ought to try it. Wonton wraps. I don't exactly know where they are in the store because I just do delivery. But anyway, you put them in a mini muffin tin, and they make little cups. I put them in the freezer, in the oven for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and they bake just a little bit, enough to make stiff cups. And then I take cream cheese. I tried the whipped cream cheese. It didn't work as well, so I just used softened cream cheese. And I used Stacy's pepper jelly that she made that is absolutely out of this world. And I just stirred it up enough to have the consistency where I can put a spoonful in each little cup. So this is not our only appetizer, so I'm getting things ready. When we had appetizers left over during the holidays, I just froze them. So I just dipped this little mixture into each cup. And the cups are kind of stiff because I already put them in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then I just placed this back in the oven for a couple of minutes. You're not baking them or anything. You're just warming it up. It was absolutely delicious. Everybody that ate some of this loved it. So we also had shrimp left over, and I froze those, but I didn't have any cocktail sauce, so I just whipped some up real quick. If you've never made this is so simple to make. It's ketchup and horseradish sauce, and I try to have things like that on hand so I can make things like this. So I do it to taste, no measurement. So I knew I had all this in the freezer, and I could whip this up really easy on a night I didn't want to cook. So that's what I planned to do. This is some meatballs that I had frozen, and I just served them with toothpicks. They were cranberry sauce, whole cranberry sauce, and meatballs. And then I added the frozen shrimp that I had thawed out. I'm telling you, this night was just like the holidays. It reminded me of the holidays. But see, I froze it all. I even had 2 rolls left over from a dinner we had, and I put that on there. Honestly, it was one of the best things. But here we are, appetizers. He thought I worked all day, I think. Well, here it is the next day. Remember, we're in the mindset of using what we have. So I had fettuccine noodles in the pantry, and I remembered that we had shrimp left over from the appetizers. So, seafood fettuccine alfredo is what it was tonight. I used my friend's garlic, and I just added to the butter, and then I drained my noodles, and I like to put them right back in the pan. I don't like to drain them long. And then I got my shrimp out and cut it up. I took the tails off and just chopped it up in little pieces. So this shrimp made 3 meals. It had the appetizers for our holidays. It made the appetizers for our night way after the holidays because I'd froze them. And the next night we had seafood alfredo. It was delicious. So I love the idea of saving money. I love the idea of keeping me away from the store, whether it's online or going in the store. And I think the most important thing I love about this pantry challenge is using what I have and not wasting anything. I was taught not to waste anything, and this just makes you stop and think. I will put the recipe for this fettuccine alfredo, whether you add seafood, chicken, whatever you want, in the description box. That was heavy whipping cream. This is the easiest alfredo you'll make. As you cook this, it will thicken, and then I add Parmesan cheese. As you add your Parmesan cheese, now it can be fresh or out of the green box. It doesn't matter. You just stir it constantly, and it'll thicken more, and then you turn your eye off. And then I season it with salt and pepper to taste, remembering that your eye is off. And then you can add your meat or not, but I'm using the leftover shrimp here. It was so good. And then I stir it in really well, and I warm it up just a little bit. It doesn't take long. This is fully cooked shrimp anyway. And then I add my fettuccine noodles. Now remember, any pasta, that would be fine. It doesn't have to be fettuccine. It can be spaghetti. It can be elbow macaroni. It would still be delicious. So I opened a can of crescent rolls, and it just so happened it was one of those sheets. And so I just made mini crescent rolls out of it. I just went ahead and used it. And then I served up my fettuccine alfredo. It was absolutely delicious. Sweet Hunter loved it, but he loves everything. Using what we have, and it ended up being a delicious meal. Some nights you just don't want to cook. My go-to is a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. Yep, that's what it is. And Sweet Hunter's is crackers and peanut butter. I know some of y'all are going to say mine's gross, but it is delicious. This is the next morning. I did not want to cook the typical bacon and sausage biscuits, so I just fried up 4 pieces of sausage. I went out to the freezer and found some Hawaiian rolls. Y'all, those little rolls, when you freeze them, they're so easy to cut. You can cut how many you want off and then cut them in 2 and just let them sit out for a few minutes, and they're ready to eat. I added some mayonnaise and some cheese, and then I turned my sausage over, and I'll put the sausage on paper towels and let them drain a minute. What I'm doing, trying to recreate here, is the crystal sunrisers, and I think I did a pretty good job. So I just fried up, I think it's 3 eggs, salt and pepper, and scrambled it real quick. And then I just put it all together and made these little breakfast sandwiches. And that's what you get for, well, going out to the chickens and them giving you eggs, having the Hawaiian rolls in the freezer, and having sausage thawed out. It worked out really well. It was a good little breakfast. I just grilled them in the pan. So a farmer friend shared with me how to freeze okra whole, and it works just so good like fried okra. So I went to the freezer and got some whole okra out. I put it in a bowl and rinsed them off. I'd already washed them, but I rinsed them off, and then I cut them up just like I was frying fresh okra. This is a really good tip he gave me. When you don't feel like freezing okra the way you traditionally do, you could just put them in a Ziploc bag. He puts his in a trash bag, and then when he gets ready to get them out, they're individually frozen. Just rinse them off and cut them up just like I'm doing. The good thing about this is they're frozen, but they're wet from thawing out, and because I rinsed them off. I just use cornmeal and toss them around, salt and pepper them, and I fry them in an iron skillet. I just added some vegetable oil to the skillet and got it good and hot. I always make sure my pan is good and hot and just pour it in. In the meantime, I have my oven preheating at 500, and I'm going to whip up some cornbread real quick. I have videos on frying my okra and making my cornbread on my channel, and I'll link those in the description box. I knew it was time for a good old country meal, so that's what we're having. We literally could have cornbread and okra and be happy as could be. Cornbread's in. So I start it on the stove and finish it off in the oven just like Sweet Hunter's granny did. Just a good old country vegetable meal. Supper's ready. So as you know, my friend Julie came and taught me the basics of sourdough bread. I've got a lot to learn, but she let me do one all by myself. She wasn't even here. She walked me through it. We text a lot. She sent me videos, but I did this myself, and I'm so excited. So as soon as I learn it all, I promise I will be sharing it. And if I can rope her in, she's the one that'll best teach it. She is a great teacher. I really appreciate her taking the time with me and spending it, showing me something that I really wanted to learn. I've wanted to learn the skill for a long time and just didn't quite know where to start. She got me started, left me alone, and let me go for it by myself. I'm very, very proud. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, y'all, Pantry Challenge Week 2. I look forward to next week. Thanks for watching. Y'all go cook something.